It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, we've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 Pacific for about an hour. We do 3 gun-related topics each day. We do different topics throughout the week, and we schedule those on Mondays. So if you want to participate in what we talk about, join us on Mondays and offer some suggestions, or anytime at our email address, dailygunshow@gmail.com. We run the show live on YouTube. We simulcast it at gunchannels.com. and watch the conversation that's happening live in the live chat over on Gun Channels and on YouTube. We'll take the best ofs and the audio from those and post them on iTunes as a podcast. So we appreciate everybody who listens to the show now or in the future that leaves us feedback, subscribes to our channels and likes and offers comments and things like that. Those interactions with the platforms let us know you're out there, so we do appreciate that. But they also interact with the platforms and allow our show to be recommended to more listeners, so we do appreciate that as well. We have hosts. Bob's joining us from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
And we got Jimmy running the show from Phoenix. Thanks for
Very good to be here.
And I'm down here in Tucson. So today is episode 417. We'll be talking about entertainment. Today it's guns and Old West movies. Then we'll be talking about budget guns for good idea, bad idea. And on Wednesdays, we do our hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown. For anybody who's participated on posting pictures over on Instagram with the hashtag Daily Gun Show, we look at those pictures that came in over the week and we judge them and we pick the best picture on Instagram. Aside from that, we do our daily gun shop of the day, the daily gun of the day, and everything else. So before we dig into that, though, we usually take a break at the beginning here to see if anything happened overnight in the shows last night or just in general that's worth talking about.
Yeah, Clover or not Clover, Ghost. Ghost had a really good chat last night. That was definitely one to check out. And Hit or Miss, surprisingly enough, was pretty good. Yes, Hit or Miss was on. It was really good. I was able to actually check those ones out last night. And glad I did. I didn't see Big Gunner on, so I wasn't sure if he was live or what happened.
He lost his broadcast rights.
Oh yeah, crap.
So Tim did that video this morning that you were talking about, and it kind of talked about how they retroact. Or no, it was Carl did a video on In Range that I was watching earlier today that talks about the people that were posting videos along, over time that had to do with bump fire stocks and other AR modifications. When YouTube, his perception is that YouTube went in and removed some of those videos that they saw would be, politically incorrect or something. And his concern is then they're erasing history, that taking things from that you did already, things that complied with the terms of service in the past, that they changed the terms of service and no longer comply if they can go backwards in time and remove videos and then give you the appropriate warnings, which accumulate to become strikes, which accumulate to have penalties, some of which are removing your channel for a length of time or removing benefits of the channel, like being able to broadcast live or embed your videos, those kind of things. Then that's a consequence of dealing with a platform that's, I guess, wishy-washy, for lack of a better term. One that's going to change their terms of services and, I guess, what do you call it, retro enforce them? Enforce them retroactively.
Retroactive enforcement.
So it's possible that's what happened to Rick. It's hard to say. I'm not sure, like, say, if he's got an actual YouTube rep on his own. If he doesn't, I'm sure he's had enough people on the show that have them. Otherwise, I would, if I don't hear from him before, we'll talk to him and see if he can, get to a YouTube rep and try to plead his case.
Yeah, that would be good, man, because he had a lot of good stuff and a lot of good info out there. I'd really like to see Rick come back.
So Carl suggests, diversifying your presence on the web, and that's always been a good strategy. But to rely on any platform, even the platform that's most popular or singularly responsible for most of your traffic, um, that's sometimes a nuisance to have to duplicate your content. But something like VidMe makes it pretty simple, and there's other options out there. I know there's some that are in the works, so hopefully we'll see other things come along and replace the stuff that had been established, and hopefully it'll be better and take us in new directions.
Hopefully it'll be just. Mac had a pretty good video this morning on what's happening too with the NRA, or not the NRA, the Republicans putting forward the stupidest bill I've ever heard. Just crazy, like turncoat Republicans putting forward a bill that says ban anything that changes the rate of fire on your gun. Well, that's pretty much anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely the time that we need to stand united.
Fire again. So on not the capacity, it doesn't demonize the size, which they did in 1934. They demonized the size and to some extent the rate of fire, but mostly the size. And then in other bills, they've restricted the materials with the Undetectable Firearms Act, and then of course magazine capacities all the time, and the various state level attacks on. All right, so this would go after a new facet. I don't know if he brought that up, but since it goes after a new facet, he pretty much focused on the part that it's a new facet that's ill-defined, like everything else they do.
Well, especially the way the bill's written. I mean, it doesn't even mention bump fires, but it talks about anything that will change the rate of fire. So you put a new trigger in, you do anything that allows you to fire that gun at all faster. And of course, what makes guns fire faster is semi-auto. I mean, that's the point he's bringing up is
Tony brought up a great point this morning when we were talking about it, that revolvers can fire quickly. So it's not just semi-autos; it can be other actions as well. Lever actions can fire quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's such an open-ended bill that they can start defining it any way they want. That's the kind of stuff they do up here. Is they write a law that's so open-ended that the people who enforce the law can define it so many different ways. Next thing you know, you've lost your dad's 1908 hunting rifle because it's a semi-auto, or maybe because it's a lever, right? Like you're saying, anything that makes a gun fire faster. So, really, we're down to muskets.
Yeah. Well, we're getting real focused on the specifics, and that's what they love, because then we fight the specifics and not the concept. So the suggestion that they even have it's even appropriate, whether or not they have the authority to suggest such things, is really the something that we could attack them on or challenge them on. They don't just get to say, okay, it's time to discuss firearms regulation again. Here's the things we're going to discuss. No, I think we discuss whether or not they have the ability to bring it to the table. Like there was no call to bring this to the table other than heist hysteria, and that was influenced by agenda-based media. That wasn't an uproar from the community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Contacts through representatives. There wasn't a letter writing campaign at the grassroots level to remove this element from Second Amendment. This was a knee-jerk reaction. So to suggest that we're going to debate them on the fine points of the details, no, let's debate them on why they're even bringing this to the table. What gives them the authority to sit down and suggest that they have, I guess, the authority again to suggest this, to bring it up. So I think, the best thing we could possibly do is take Ryan and get rid of him, get rid of these other guys, make it there's a consequence to even suggesting bringing something like this to the table with such little reasoning or justification. All right, well, it was supposed to be what happened overnight. It keeps happening because that's in the news right now. So it's not comfortable, it's not fun, but if we just sit back and say, let's talk about this when it's more comfortable and fun to talk about, that's after everything's already happened. So we either have to make a decision to do stuff when it's happening and get into it, or cover, talk about it after it happened, talk about the consequences of it. I don't know. I guess we can rehash everything we talked about in the early watch, or I'll just throw out there that kind of brings up a point there. One way to divert the conversations, and I don't know if it's always appropriate to divert the conversations, but depending on the circumstances, I like to have in the inventory of things to bring up when they start talking about, what do you think about bump stocks? Should they be illegal? Like, I don't know. Do people still do cocaine because it's illegal? Did they solve the demand for cocaine by making it illegal? There's all kinds of consequences to it at multiple levels for trafficking or selling it or possessing it, using it, being under the influence of it. Yet it still kills more people than guns.
Yeah, well, just you can take alcohol, right? I mean, alcohol.
Well, alcohol is legal though, and you're trying to divert the topic, but I'm trying to give them a parallel. So why would you bring this up? Like, are you going to suggest that this is going to work better than the war on drugs did?
Yeah, I was just going to make the point that, driving while drunk is illegal and you go to jail for it. So, it's like, just because something's legal, like say a bump stock, it's when you misuse it that you should go to jail, that you should be punished, not just because it's there, it's available. It's like, how did prohibition work? Like, I guess it's the same point you're making about the cocaine, but it's prohibition didn't work for nothing, right? And so they learned that that doesn't work to make something illegal, that people are still going to get it if they want it. So, it's the same thing. You can make all the stupid laws you want. It's not going to stop people who really want to get something from getting it.
Yeah,
right, well,
exactly.
So one of the reasons we're doing the show is to promote gun shops and to offer a refuse from the chat of the day. So, I mean, this is going to influence what we're talking about because it's such a big thing right now. But I'm going to suggest let's dig into the show, unless Jimmy was about to say something important there.
No, not important. I was just going to pretty much agree.
All right, well, then let's get into entertainment. So, guns in Old West movies. Where do we want to start that one? It's pretty broad.
How their usage has changed, how the realism of how they were used has changed, maybe. Because the early Westerns, although some of the Western actors did learn to be quick draws, that was something some of them did do. But the whole, shooting from the hip and never missing and the flesh wound thing, and the fact they never reloaded those single actions.
Well, cowboys were our superheroes back then, right? So we were talking movies made for Saturday afternoon, so for kids and for people just having a day off and wanting to entertain themselves, right? And everybody knew cowboys because they just got done living the cowboys, the Western expansion and the Indian Wars and the taming of the Old West and all that, right? So dime novels and stuff, everybody knew cowboys, and then they start making movies and they have all this cowboy stuff available in the towns and the horses and people that understood all that stuff still. So I think to some extent it wasn't like intentionally as much as just, let's make it interesting. Let's make it, extreme, right? Let's make it every shot's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then I kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it got kind of old, right? People got sick of that. And eventually, well, I guess it was quite a while later, they started to be a little bit more realistic with it, and people like that. What would you call that? Like that, the refinement or that like extra layer of realism.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The extra layer of realism. Yeah.
Like it was.
I knew when I
let's just have a movie and be wearing cowboy stuff, but like let's focus the camera on some of the cowboy stuff once in a while, and the fact that they are cowboys and not in World War II, or they're not, oil workers or something else.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's why I like those movies like a lot too. I mean, still do, but when I was a kid, for example, like when I first started watching them, I mean, I never really thought about. Obviously, I didn't know, but I never really thought about the reload stuff. I was just watching the action, and like you said, dressing up like a cowboy for Halloween and stuff like that. I don't know.
Now, some gun people still do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But the whole realism aspect of it that didn't come in until I was older, and then it started annoying me, like the never-ending cylinder and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you figured out that, hey, it's not that easy. You got to reload this thing.
Well, he's only got 2 6-shooters, and that was about 32 shots.
Yeah, and he knocked out people.
Now the shooting from the hip, though, man, I don't know. I've seen a couple of the cowboy action shooters and stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for those single action shooting competitions.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty good at the quick draw and at the hip and stuff like that. But yeah, you still see them aim.
Yeah, they're not. The thing is, they're shooting with planks and they're bursting balloons.
Yeah.
Well, guys, so it's like not quite like you've actually got to hit the balloon. The muzzle blast has to. That's it.
Yeah, and it has a far wider range than a bullet would.
Oh yeah, it's got a real nice spread. But yeah, and the dress, like the Western cowboy dress, like the old cowboys, they never got dirty. Their hats never got knocked off. Yeah, the guy can go flying off his horse, get up and he's got spotless and his hat's still square on his head.
Yeah, just rode from Dodge City to Arizona territory and doesn't have one sweat stain on him.
Yeah. Plus, like the holsters and stuff they wore, that the real cowboys didn't do it that way, but most cowboys didn't wear holsters. But yeah, but it's just the way movies have changed now, and it's people expect more realism. So that's what we're looking for, right? More realistic movies. And I like the one thing I really think is neat is what they're doing is you're seeing more obscure guns, because when you look at some of the museums that we looked at when G was on the tour, and just the range of different models and types. I mean, it wasn't just Colts and Schofields. There was like all these different calibers, all these different makes of guns, because there were so many revolvers made, during Civil War and just after the Civil War. It was just mind-boggling. So to actually see some of those in movies now, like you get to see that there was such a variety of firearms. Like it must have been a nightmare for ammunition.
So as you're saying that, you think about the old movies. I remember Emil Frenzy and the guys would talk about that on the Voices of the West show, on their radio show, and they would talk about, like, when a movie was made a long time ago, and they went to go get guns from like the armory or some set place, that furnished them or whatever it was they were getting their guns from. There was guns. There's always guns that are cheap old guns, and then there's whatever the new gun is, and then there's replicas. There's probably rubber versions and plastic versions and whatnot, depending on what kind of thing they're filming. But they were talking about at one time, I remember, just the old expensive guns now that are rare, but little lever actions or something. And yeah, you think about, like, in those old movies, they didn't make plastic versions of stuff. When it was a $50 gun at the time, they just threw the $50 gun in the creek. Or, a $50 gun, they'd throw it off as they fell off the horse and it got all beat up in the sand or whatever. And back then, what a $50 gun was, because they did that with those $50 guns, there's so few of them that now those are $30,000 guns. So you can watch some of these movies and, they're throwing around guns that today you'd you'd be happy if somebody passed it down in your family because it's worth as much as your house or something. So that's kind of interesting when you think about some of the older movies.
Yeah, I never really think about that. Those were probably like real golden boys and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Like you said, there were so many guns back then. Everybody had their family guns, and then there was just guns. So, yeah, it would be like if we were making a movie today and we threw around a bunch of stuff that, Tauruses or stars or something we didn't care about. And then we all sit around not caring about stuff, and they pass a law against fast or guns that fire quickly. All of a sudden, you don't have semi-autos, and now those stars and Tauruses, suddenly super appealing since you can't make them anymore. All it takes is a little bit. I don't think anybody talks about the lack of. If we weren't buying guns, companies would go out of business. Like those companies don't just bounce back to business once we start buying guns again. So even if we lose our rights for just a bit, all the gun companies could go out of business. And then even if we get our gun rights back somehow, what are we left with? A bunch of Tauruses, countries that. Anyway, so yeah, we could end up to a point where the stuff that's throwaway guns now would be worth something.
Yeah, it happened up here, man. We used to have hundreds of rifle manufacturers and stuff, and they're all gone. And they just legislated them out of business, basically.
Yeah.
So Patriot is asking if there's any extras of the Old West playing cards. They're being sent out. I asked for the addresses from people just early last week because I didn't want addresses or people would be moving, going out of town or whatever. So I don't know, $2,500 worth of them have been shipped. I know that much of it, but that's actually about 2/3. So about a third of them still need to send me their addresses, and then we can send them, and then I'll know how many are left over. So it'll probably be about 130. I forgot what he said extra. So it's going to be like 100 and something extra decks, and whenever they're available, we'll either put them on Amazon or on the Gear website store.
Mine are coming. Woohoo!
So it's kind of frustrating. One of the things I'd like to have done at the museums is take the deck out and then get like a picture of the card with the guns behind it. But we got pictures of all the guns at least. So we'll be able to put something together like that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. You could probably even just superimpose a picture of the card on top of the picture of the gun.
Yeah. That'd probably work better anyway.
Yeah, you'd be able to take a better picture. But yeah, that's going to be cool. Those cards come out.
Oh yeah.
King Lion is saying he searched all their websites and added their office contact numbers to what? Give us a link if you want. We'd be happy to, send those numbers out. He's talking about,
Oh, we're talking about the congressman that did that whole thing on Tim's video.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be excellent. Get those publicized, and then everybody starts emailing or writing letters.
But anyway, like I say, we'll definitely repost those phone numbers and what.
Yeah. Well, at least, how long ago was it that, man, when Trump first got elected and you were saying now is not the time to stop the push, now is not the time, we've got to keep the pressure on. And everybody else was just like, nah, we got Trump for president, we'll be good. And it just, all the activism dropped off. And now, of course, what happens? If we had been active the whole time, like what a lot of people were suggesting, or some people were suggesting, I should say, this would not be nearly as dangerous as it is right now.
Yeah, but again, it could be a lot more dangerous. So we didn't win the fight, so that this is inconsequential. But you're right, it's not perfect, but we do have that voice. We have those channels. We're using them.
Yeah, and
got military arms channel now. You didn't even have him during the elections, because the NRA had suggested that they were going to do the opposite of what they ended up doing. But I think there's actually some opportunity here. They might have picked the wrong time to do some stuff. They definitely think that they get the same reaction every time they punch us. They're not going to quite the same reaction every time just because they're different every time.
Yeah, And I mean, and this also gives us in the future, like going on into the future, if people start to get complacent again, you can just bring this up and go, look what happened last time, guys. I mean, and the time before that, and the time before that. But this might be closer to their minds.
I certainly hope we don't get a black eye that we can resort to, but I don't mind getting a twisted arm or something. Like, remember how they tried to twist our arm and we resisted and got out of it? Like, let's not let them get us into that position again. Why are we letting them come up behind us and rub on us like that?
Yeah.
I personally don't like that.
You want Hillary rubbing up against your back?
That
Gross.
Brian guy coming up and rubbing up against me.
Ooh.
I'm your friend. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. Give me your arm. Your arm. All right. Well, so that was entertainment and guns in Old West movies. I know we probably give that one better attention before, and we will again. But the participatory show, nobody was saying nothing except about all the stuff in the news. So we're gonna plow through. We're going to go into the good idea, bad idea, which today is budget guns. So we'll be talking about if that's a good idea or a bad idea. But before we do, we'd like to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels between our first and second segments each day. So does anybody have anybody in mind?
I thought we were just going to continue on from the tour because, we did Edge and then we did No.
That's right. So the next person I met up with was probably Pink in at the bullpup shoot. So I met up with a couple of people there, but Pink was the first one that knew the van and came over and said, hey, as I was parking. So he's definitely the first one I met up with there. And he's out in the chat right now. I met up with him a little bit later. He tuned the van up, helped me fix the electric. He actually fixed the electric in the back so that I had battery for the rest of the trip. And I think at that point, I was probably only maybe 3,000 miles or 4,000 miles into the 9,000 mile trip. So he really helped me out for quite a bit of the mileage on that. And then what else? Gave me a laptop. So at some point here, everything will get caught up and I'll be able to move some software, the Adobe software, over onto the new laptop with the fancy video card and be able to start doing the cartoons and taking off in that direction. Pink does the lobby chats in the evening. So really changed the face of Gun Channels. I mean, we'd feature a member over at Gun Channels every day. We say that the place is completely driven by its membership. Every once in a while, somebody gets in the driver's seat and really moves it, really takes us to another place. And Pink is definitely one of those guys. In addition to all that, he goes out and goes to places. So he goes with Marco to the various, SHOT Show and Eric's thing. He's gone to NRA show a couple of times now, I think. To that, he drove, 9 hours to go to the bullpup shoot and take pictures and post them on Instagram. He went to the Dayton Air Museum with me. So I mean, hopefully that's what we built Gun Channels for, some people that want to get out there and be active. And Pink is an excellent example of somebody who's interested in being part of it all, right? Having fun. So thanks, Pink, for being an inspiration to everybody and for everything you're doing with Gun Channels. It's really making it a better place.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And then with those nighttime chats that he was doing, and when I first started here, Pink was actually the first one that showed me how to do the whole the embedding stuff and putting the live chats up on Gun Channel. So I guess you guys could kind of thank Pink for the early watch. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but definitely helped out.
Yeah, well, we put pictures of me out on Instagram at SHOT Show, so hey, surprised his camera didn't break.
Yeah, Pink was one of the people there for the infamous Sharpie marker knife fight. Standing right there.
Probably
right. Film her too, because he was standing in a good spot. I was standing behind a light pole.
He just didn't want to take a chance on getting caught by any flying Sharpies.
So we do try to feature a member every day. Gun Channel is completely membership driven. It's a software platform or social media software platform that is off the shelf. So I can have subcontractors work on it if necessary, or if we have the funds or the need to do so. But a bunch of the people on Gun Channels help run it behind the scenes, literally. Others help run it, up on the front of the spotlights or whatever you want to say, like on prime time. And then, of course, everybody who participates in gun channels makes it happen. So we got 5,000 members over there. A couple of hundred of us are active, and a couple of dozen of us are active like on the daily. So I mean, it still exists. We're not doing it to be the biggest. We're not doing it to be the best. We're not doing it to be the only. We're just doing it to be, so that there's a place for people who want to create content. They can do that. There's a place that people who enjoy watching actual content and not sales ads. It's a place where they can hang out and watch it and be part of the content. So all those facets, I think we've been very successful. It doesn't make any money. It's not a profitable thing. It doesn't lose money either. When I say it's completely run by its members, the members that do contribute on a monthly or yearly subscription level are paying for the costs of it. At some point, if we really needed to soup it up, we probably have enough resources there to do so. It's never been my big drive to make it the biggest or the best. I just want to make sure that it exists. And I really like the community we got there. So that's one of the reasons we feature a member each day. But if you'd like to feature somebody, or if somebody's helped you out, or if you just want to give somebody a kudos or a thumbs up, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to echo it here on the show. And if you're doing some kind of content out there, consider doing a member of the day also, because it just gives some thanks to the people who are putting forth some effort that don't normally get a thank you, and help spread the word about the concept. So we will keep going and do good idea, bad idea. So we usually just start out and go left to right. Bob, budget guns, good idea, bad idea?
Good idea.
Jimmy, good idea, bad idea?
Bad idea.
What? Obviously, very good idea. So now we have to go to the audience and say, what do you think, good idea or bad idea? So Jimmy, you're wrong. Why are you saying that?
I feel like just okay. There's some budget guns out there that you can go to, such as police trade-in Glocks, police trade-in Smiths, police trade-in Berettas. Though used on the used market, I guess I can consider those budget guns. I think that's a great idea. But if you go and buy, $100 crap gun and pins walk out on you, rails on the inside of the slide mechanism end up bending or cracking or breaking because of the cheapness. Now, having some older guns around, like Saturday Night Specials, that kind of thing, as a collection, awesome. Using it as something to carry with, I think it's a horrible idea. I don't think that it's a good thing. Even if somebody doesn't have a lot of money to spend initially, like $500 or whatever, I think they should save, because if you have something that you're going to defend your life with, are you going to go out there with the first cheapest POS that you could find, or are you going to use something that you can kind of trust?
All right. Well, that's fair if you're looking at it from the personal defense angle. So Bob, why do you go with yes?
Well, because I don't see a budget gun as being a piece of shit gun. I see a budget gun as being an inexpensive gun that works. Might not have all the bells and whistles, might not be that fancy. But what's wrong with a plain Jane gun that goes bang when you pull the trigger and it didn't cost you very much? I mean, just as to have those extra guns in your stores. So if you have to, during a shit fan situation, you have to arm other people. Well, it'd be kind of handy to have a few extra guns kicking around. Well, and if all you've got is those high-end guns, then you don't have as many. Whereas if you got a bunch of budget guns, yeah. And as long as, like I say, I don't see budget as meaning junk. I mean, budget means expensive.
So would you consider then a Glock to be a budget gun?
Yeah, because it's one of those disposable throwaway guns.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't throwing Glock into the budget ring, but.
Oh yeah, because you can pick up Glocks, like you say, for cheap, right? Those police trade-ins.
Yeah, but I mean, new ones though, for $500-600.
I mean, obviously, it depends on what somebody's income is to what a budget would be for them, right?
Right.
But I think for most of us, 500, is a pretty expensive firearm.
Yeah.
But when I think of budget guns, I'm thinking Jimenez, I'm thinking Sky, I'm thinking what's another, Taurus? Yeah, I'm not that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think budget guns like used single shot or used pump action shotguns you can pick up for 150 or $200. That, you know, like a Maverick 88 kind of thing. Well, there's nothing wrong with those. They work fine. Not as good as a Remington, but then they're less money. That's part of being a budget gun.
I hear you.
Singles, like you can pick up single shot 12 gauges for next to nothing, and they make great little prepper survival guns or camping guns.
So I'm going to say budget guns are a good idea because, again, depends on what everybody's going to call budget gun. So I'm just going to define it as a gun that you can buy with, like, you know, you don't have to save up for it. You just buy it at a gun show. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you can just afford to buy it at a gun show. Now, for some people, that's going to be a Glock. Other people, that's going to be something at the 100.5 level. So I think the reason for budget guns is the same reason for Harbor Freight. I agree with everything everybody's been saying in the chats as far as if guns are tools, you buy a good tool once, right? I agree. That's why you buy Glocks, and you have Glocks that are going to work. And then you have a couple of them, so when a machine fails, you still have the same platform and everything, all the interchangeable parts. Your broken one turns into spare parts for your new working one. So, you know, I'm not suggesting that's a bad idea or a bad theory for a useful practical gun, but that's why you go to Snap-on or you go to Sears or you go to wherever it is that you like to buy tools, and you buy your good set of tools. But there's a Harbor Freight for a reason, and we got boats and we got ATVs and we got trucks and we got campers. I don't know, we got workshops, we got our vacation houses, we got, you know, when you got to walk into the swamp and you know you're going to get all muddy. You know, there's times when you don't want your best hammer out there, you don't want your best wrench out there, but you want a wrench and you want a hammer. So that's why I think budget guns are useful. Budget guns are responsible for the 300-something million guns we have in this country, which is an important number that gets overlooked. It only gets brought up when they want to scold us for having too many guns. I wish it was Glocks and Remingtons and Mossbergs and stuff, but it ain't. It's a bunch of stupid stuff. So all those stupid guns help keep the numbers up there, and they keep, I think that number is important so that we can prove that we have a lot of responsibility and we have a lot of dangerous things, but we also live in a very peaceful country, and all that juxtaposition helps prove that individual freedom is the way to go. Because again, without all those hundreds of millions of probably cheap guns, we would only have hundreds of millions of guns out there. We wouldn't have 300 million guns. Anyhow, so I think that part of it is important. Then you get to the part where it's just fun to tinker. And if you're going to tinker and learn, you're going to give a gun to a kid. Are you really going to give a kid a Colt? I mean, it'd be nice if you gave your kid a Colt, but you're going to give your kid an RG first, right? A Rome. You're going to give him something that he can break, and it doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. So I think those cheap guns, they're not practical for everything, but they're certainly applicable for lots and lots of tasks. Since they only cost $100 or something, you know, economical, cheap. Yeah, they definitely have a purpose.
Yeah, I think my first gun was a 22 single shot rifle that I ever bought myself, and I think it was maybe $50, you know, if that. So, and yet I still own that gun. I mean, you know, and it's probably shot, yeah, God, who knows, like 1 million rounds through it. I mean, you know, and that just, I loved it.
Car Carrier saying on the YouTube side, problem with the cheap stuff is quality control. Often you get one that is good and then the next one is not. So yeah, you're right. But same with Harbor Freight, right? I've had Joe presses that didn't even last 10 minutes. And then I've had grinding wheel that's gone on and just kept kicking for decades, right? So every once in a while, a cheap design is just solid, especially when they rip off Browning or something, right? I mean, how can they screw that up? They just use cheap metal, so it's a little bit bigger. Otherwise, it's just a Browning design. Most of those work fine. But then there are some that break, and that's where, again, not that you buy a gun to break, but it's certainly nice to be able to buy a $35 gun, give that to a kid, or just take it into the garage and dink with it and play with it. There's a little bit of satisfaction you get out of buying a $35 gun and then taking it to the range and shooting it a few times and putting it in a safe. I mean, how much consequence is there for a $35 gun? I got that Saturday Night Special collection. A whole chunk of them didn't cost me $50 each. So I have ultimate fun playing with them as much as I did when I was a little kid playing with my Matchbox cars, just pulling them out and looking at them. One of the features of the tour, whenever I go on the tour again, will be to take those to gun shows and just set them up as a display. I got encouraged by one of the gun show in Fort Worth. No, the gun show in Albuquerque. had displays. Gun shows used to encourage displays and have competition, so people could bring in their collections, and they'd be encouraged to, and they'd set up their collections in all kinds of cool ways, so that people who are at the gun show could just check them out, just look at them, talk to your kids about it, talk to your friend about it, and then just experience what it's like to see, like, all of the, at this show they had all the little Walthers and one, all little Walther vest pocket things on one kind of table. It was neat. So anyway, it's just cool to be able to bring out a bunch of little guns and talk about like their histories or the way that the factories changed around or whatever it is, about that little cheap gun. And there's the Daisies, there's all the little BB gun companies that made guns. There's all the little fly-by-night kids guns. Then, of course, the Saturday Night Specials. There's tons of them, so many of them that the politicians got real mad. And I always like to think, since we're talking about stuff like the bump stock, which is an item that complies with 1934 regulation and infringement, right? It walked right up to the line and created something that complied 100% with their stupid regulation. The Saturday Night Specials are one of those things that comply. And then they created the 1968 importation ban based on the sporting use, which is right now up for debate in the SHARE Act. And the resulting Ring of Fire guns are all a consequence of that stupid attempt at legislation, which didn't legislate demand at all. It only legislated supply. So having those, I think, is a super fun thing to talk about with people who are into guns but don't really pay attention to what's going on. And that's like a physical way. I don't know if Bob's been around when I've had him out, but you have 25 little cheap guns sitting there that everybody else likes to dismiss, or everybody likes to dismiss, right? And then you sit there and you talk to them a bit, and you talk to them about how, they relate to the 1968, how they relate to sporting use, now how they relate to SHARE. And, I think they're, they can, by picking them up and holding them and seeing the difference between the first and the last, or the first and some of the different versions of it, you can see how frustrating it was for those companies to live in California and comply with the stupid infringements that kept coming.
Oh, exactly. And yeah, I have seen all those low guns. We took them out one time, shot them out in the desert one time.
Well, I mean, when I set them out on a table, like we were talking about the movie yesterday with Mika, when I did this movie with a fake gun show in it, all those people that normally go to gun shows together went to this gun show for a movie and got paid to just hang out like if we were at a gun show, but there was no customers. There were just actors. So the actors who acted like customers were just asking us questions about the gun. And since there was nothing to sell and no hurry, because we're all getting paid, we had the most fascinating conversations with these people who are actors who had no interest in guns, but were basically playing the role literally of buyers at a gun show. And we're all playing the role literally of sellers at gun shows, and everybody there was literally a seller at a gun show. They just asked a bunch of sellers to show up and set up their stuff at this fake gun show. So yeah, that experience was awesome, because these people were seeing the Saturday Night Special or the Ring of Fire guns all laid out there, and to different levels they were interested in the actual story. But again, it's just being able to pick something up like that and hold it. And again, that whole thing is, I've done the same thing with my little revolvers, right? I got a whole bunch of those, or had a whole bunch of those. And that's the same thing. You can have a lot of fun talking to people about it. The problem is that history really doesn't touch on too many gun laws, and those things cost at least $250 a pop. So to amass a collection of those things, you got to be insane or rich, right? So that's a hell of a lot more investment to have 20 of them sitting on the table than it is to have 20 $35 items.
Oh yeah, that's why collector's items, I think they're awesome. I mean, you could find those old Saturday Night Specials. You're saying like the Roms, the Jennings, the Bricos. I mean, you can find a lot of those for under $100, in or around that anyway.
All the time, and broken less than 50 all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and a good thing about those Jennings ones too, because I had a little collection of those, and Jimenez still makes pretty much interchangeable parts for them. So if they are broken, you can fix them for fairly cheap.
Yeah, the Jennings and Jimenez are the same equipment, like the same factory moved over, so they can. In fact, a lot of times they'll just take your old gun and give you back a Jimenez. That's another benefit of the little guns, I guess. Just in general, we got off into their relationship to conversations about laws or whatever, but just in general, the budget guns pretty much don't cost the company anything to make. So it's easier for them to just replace most of the time, even though there are interchangeable parts on those things. If it's a bad enough issue, they'll just replace the thing. So you can get a pretty good bang for your buck, literally, out of an inexpensive new gun. One of those El Jimenez is for 125 typically at retail.
Yeah, like brand new.
Yeah, like in the box, 125, and you'll go shoot that a bit. It's not the fanciest gun ever, but if it ever does break, you'll get it. You know, there's a company that's still there behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. My only concern with those would be, like I said earlier, is if that's why I would say bad idea, because if they break and you're trying to use it to defend yourself, which I know most people wouldn't, but I know that there has been those couple comments coming in before where it's like, hey, I only have $120. What gun should I get? And I don't know. My advice is always to save for another paycheck.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a separate question because we're just talking budget guns. Should they exist or are they a good idea? Yes, but if you're gonna add the qualifier for defense, then I would say no.
Well, in that aspect, then I guess you guys have successfully changed my mind, and I'll say that it's a good idea.
All right,
There we go.
Here we go.
It's a win.
All right, so now we feel good. We can quit talking about it. We'll move along. Except the car carrier saying he enjoys cleaning up milsurp rifles. I wish I could say milsurps were bargains. They used to be budget guns. You used to be able to go to the gun shop and be at gun show, and a couple $100 in your pocket and like not find the Ruger or whatever it is you're looking for, and then go, I'll just buy a Makarov on the way out. Then pay $85 for a Makarov and go home with it. Add it to the pile. That would be the days again. That would be nice. But I can remember looking at Makarovs at 75 and getting all offended. Like, oh, can you believe they're $75 now for a Makarov? Oh. And we didn't buy them. Like, oh, we're not going to buy them. We're going to boycott those.
Yeah.
And now, cue the kicking.
Now they're like $300.
Yeah. And they're lame. They're all the imported stuff now. I mean, that was back when it was just, neat. I don't know what the hell they were. Bringbacks or imports with military, origins or something. So at least look like military guns with just a little bit of import writing on them. Anyway, like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time looking at them, but that happens. So now we're going to go into the gun of the day.
Yeah, but man, I was kind of surprised though. Today, right now, it's what is it? So at 9:23, so about 20 minutes ago, it was 76, man. 76 degrees out here in Apache Junction. I think I might need a windbreaker.
Oh, it's getting that cool, huh?
Yeah.
Bit of a breeze coming up.
Yeah, it said it was going to be 90 this week.
I had to take off my bump fighter stock, guys.
Oh,
Regardless of that, you kind of know what that sound means. It's time to crack those knuckles, whip out those keyboards, and get ready for the daily quiz. Let's see here. I'm away from the keyboard at the second, but you guys see the answer on the sheet? So,
yes.
Okay. So, everybody, attention, please. What year was the second generation of Glock pistols introduced? What year was the second generation of Glock pistols introduced?
nothing on YouTube yet.
$1986 is not correct. No answers on YouTube at all. None. 1988 is answered by Angry. That was the second answer to come in. Which is correct.
And 1988 is correct. Congratulations, Amy. Angry. Excuse me.
American?
What'd you call him?
American.
So Amy, according to Jimmy, I guess that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day. Good job. Way to go.
At least he didn't fart.
Congrats.
Way to go, Angry. Or Amy, if that's your real name.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, when I met him and he told me his real name, I can't call,
Yeah, I know. He
Slick.
just doesn't look like an Amy.
All right.
Well, we dropped a link there. Please use it. We're going to start implementing the patch panel here. As soon as everything calms down, we're able to do so. And we'll start sending out fabulous prizes as part of the Tactical Pop quizzes.
There you go.
We're able to do that because of the financial support of our Patreon supporters. So we have a Patreon page specifically for the Daily Gun Show. Amazingly, it's called Daily Gun Show. So if you go over to Patreon, you type in Daily Gun Show, or if you look at one of the channels of the people that support the Daily Gun Show, you'll have a quick link to it there. And we do some things over there that are Patreon only, but that's not our style. So we use the Patreon as a way for you to help with the show, to basically pay for the postage, so that we can get some of the stuff that we found or collected or purchased or were given, so we can get some of that stuff out to the winners of the tactical quizzes and some of the other fun things we're going to be incorporating into the show to keep it interesting and basically get rid of some of this clutter. I need to sell everything in the house and move some of this swag, stuff that we get at SHOT Show and whatever over the years. It accumulates, and we're using the money that comes in on the Patreon for the Daily Gun Show to pay for that postage. So thanks for making that possible. And I guess that'll take us to the gun of the day, which we were about to go into before. Every day we feature a gun. Today Bob featured this gun for some reason.
Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I just like this gun. I don't know why. It's got something.
Shoot mine?
Cool.
Did you shoot mine? Did we bring that out?
I don't think we did,
Thumbs is buying it off of me, so shoot it off of him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 or 9? G?
9.
Oh, I see why you're selling it.
I got it with the Glock 9 so that it would use those stick mags, but I got it before there was 40 stick mags, and it's still more reasonable for a shit hits the fan gun to have something that uses Glock 9 magazines.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
The most common pistol caliber.
Not really. I mean, I've never even shot it. I mean, we probably have brought it out before, but I don't shoot it. I just own it because I think it's an interesting concept for a backpack gun. I think that especially for Thumb's situation where he's got a wife, he's got 3 kids and a grandkid, and nobody's huge, so anybody could wield that thing. Anybody can take it into operation. They're all savvy enough with firearms from being around us that they're comfortable with it, and it's little, right? Any of the kids can shoot that if they had to. And even though it's 9, there's 30 rounds of 9 in there.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly right, yeah. Plus, I mean, it's much easier to shoot a carbine than it is a pistol.
Definitely, especially for someone who's under stress and not super familiar with the thing in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent.
It does work. I talked right over you, Bob.
No, I was just saying I think they're just an excellent, cool little gun. And from everything I've been able to hear and read, they're reliable and they work. So what the heck?
Yeah, they can not work, and people can be goofy with them and claim that they don't work. But in my experience, they work.
So that's our gun of the day. I picked it. I don't care whether anybody else likes it.
So I definitely think it's cool, especially like G was saying, man, the way you could fold it up and make it nice and compact.
Yeah, that's the real thing that really drew my eye to it, was the fact you can just, it folds in half.
Well, it can fold in half with a mag inserted, so it's not like, oh, an AR-15, you can just take that thing apart and collapse it all down, whatever. When you need to deploy it, you got to start assembling a Lego kit. With this thing, you snap the one thing over, you drop the bolt, and you're done. you're shooting.
Yeah. You got, you could easily carry 4 of those 30-round mags, and I mean, that's a fair bit of firepower in a small little package.
Yeah, and it supplements a gun. You have it with a gun. It's an accessory to your Glock.
Yeah.
All right, we're sold, and it's an inexpensive gun. It's a budget gun, so it's also works with the rest of today's themes.
There you go. And I didn't even think of the budget thing.
It was also used in many Old West movies, so. All right, so that was our gun of the day. We try to feature a new gun every single day. Bob gets really touchy if you try to suggest guns to him, but you might want to try one day and see what happens. Let's talk about the showdown. That's a lot of work. I remember when Smeggy used to come in here and do this. And quit showing up for it.
It was too hard.
He insists on going to work every day.
Yeah, I know. He's funny that way.
Yeah. So yeah, we started doing the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown. So it's the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown on Instagram. Over there, you can use hashtags, and it doesn't cost you nothing. You don't have to charge. We don't charge you nothing to use our hashtag. So when you're making a picture, you think it's great, then use the hashtag Daily Gun Show on it, and then we're gonna do like what we're doing right now, screen share it. And what did we have last week? Something like a number of them, and this week we have even more. So looks like we have
1,068. Holy crap.
So thanks to everybody who has been using them. Thanks to you if you've been using them. It looks like our most popular ones there are at the top, and then we get to our most recent ones. And we got some there from Pink. Got some there from Clover. I can already see some from Moon. Chris. It's like might have one in there. Or from Clover.
Go down from the last one that I remember.
That's yours from the gun shop, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but remember though, that whole stuff went down last week, and we kind of skipped it when you were doing from the on-site Daily Gun shows.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of these. All right, so I do remember doing this one. This is when Angry went to the gun show, got his AZ CDL.
Okay.
So
we got one from Chris there, sticking a tree. I think a lot of tree stabbings are the result of his pictures.
Yeah. Save the trees. Steadily, another awesome one. And that's another one in the rain too. I like that. Nice. Little Romanian bayonet.
Yeah, it almost looks like a VZ.
No, it doesn't look like anything. Like
No.
It's all looks like
the
that.
fact that it's got a blade, yeah.
No, it's like the handle finish, the scales on the handle.
All right.
Got one from Jodeci. This is a new Daily Gun Show one. Is that
Okay.
a 40 rounder?
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's a big magazine. Oh, what's wrong with those magazines? They're all rusty.
You keep
No, it's
taking
just-
pictures in the rain.
No, that's not a filter. It's that fancy filter doing that, I think.
Yeah.
Or he just wants them to look authentic.
Another repost from Scotty. Those are awesome too. Appreciate those reposts.
Another tree stabbing. Just imagine in the future when that tree grows around that gun and that knife and somebody finds it, just kind of sticking out of the tree. That's going to be cool.
No. Got a Springfield here. We'll forgive that one.
Takes a long time, but that's how I make a tree holster.
Yeah, if you want a wooden holster, that's how you do it.
What's this? We need more young people involved in our civil rights. Most people attending this conference are older. Please share America's future gun owners. There's still time to reserve. Oh, this is from the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Cool.
Right,
That's
that was
from 2018.
So it says that was posted on the 26th before the show even started on the 29th, and that was an urge to get out there. It looks like so they weren't kidding. That place is full of old white people. That's it, old white people.
Ohio Fly. Oh, that's when he was taking his 1,000-yard class out here. You missed that, G. You were out on the tour still, and Ohio came out at was at Ben Avery, but he took a Kleckner class, a long range shooting class. And
Right
I
on.
think he was camped out at Avery. So yeah, that's his rifle right there. Very cool.
Did you guys go out there and hang out with them?
Yeah, we met up with him and had dinner with him, talked for a little bit. Real cool guy.
Oh, very cool. We definitely have to get everybody together and figure out what the new meetup arrangement is and get some new trading cards out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. There's another one from Ohio. See that range is just awesome. I would have loved to take that long range class.
Oh yeah, that's neat.
I got an invite to do a long range class in Salt Lake City. We never did it.
Got another one from Chris. Is that the 9/19/11?
I think
yeah, that's
long range is immoral. How can you know what they feel like out there if you're not there?
It's a 9mm 1911.
This is
yeah.
a combination.
Oh, isn't that sweet? It's a
So-
classic gun and a classic caliber.
I guess. Here's another one from Jodeci.
Looks like it's on steps.
Yeah. A fall day on the stairs for the Glock 27.
What kind of leaves are them? What kind of tree?
They're not maple.
They're dead leaves.
What else we got here? Kneeling is for running out the clock. I stand. So that's Clover Tack. That's the whole NFL thing that's going on right now. We got Moon here.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's got the grips in color, everything else black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that. I just thought that they were werewolf bullets.
Hey, we're talking Moon here, not Yankee.
Another repost from Scotty. No, Marco even reposted it. That was a popular one. And look at that there. See how many
So-
eyes are getting on this. 668 from the original one. Then 37 more from Scotty. And then 4,000.
373.
Yeah.
So that's funny. He is talking through one and screen sharing through the other.
Jimmy got too excited.
So Jimmy, your other one dropped. I don't know if he's listening through this one.
Oh, okay, he's back.
Yeah, I heard you guys. Thank you.
We were wondering if you were just sitting there talking away as you kept taking pictures.
I like what Phoenix wrote over there. We should probably start using that as a more accurate indicator. 9mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Min-a-meter.
Still the most popular round in the world for handgun.
The most popular, smallest round in the world.
Yeah, there are a lot of girls and kids in the world, so
That would be the
That's
22 short, your favorite round.
My favorite round is the first round. It's not the most popular. I wish it was the most popular.
Well, we'd all be a lot safer.
Ow, I got shot. Ow, I got shot a whole bunch of times.
Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, somebody got their sandwich.
yummy, yummy. The bacon dough.
Mm,
It looks like raw bacon, so nope. And there was only 2 pieces of French fry? What the hell?
Looks like they took a potato and just cut it in half and fried it.
Or like half and then you got a half. There's only 2 pieces of potato there. No, I'm not going. Bad idea on that one.
Oh, paint gun with an extendo.
Yeah, it's got the clear extendos.
All those ETS. Oh yeah, well, those are single stacks, so I think that those ETS mags probably run better than the double stack ones. I've been curious about those for the 43.
I don't know. I went to my first Glock match ever. This was like in 2005 or something, and I think I'm figured it all out because I worked at a gun shop and I had a Glock and I'm ready for this Glock match. And I get up there, and I'd never done any kind of competition, so this is me learning how to do competitions or whatever. So I get up there and I listen to him tell me how to do it, and then beep, and then I go to shoot, nothing. Click, 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 click. Basically, the mag I was using a Schreier. Is that the name of that company? The third-party mags back in the day were like Schreier and some other company, and yeah, just a garbage mag. So it wouldn't feed nothing. So even when I slammed the thing to chamber the first round, it didn't even chamber. So yeah, it was my first introduction to competition and the last time I ever used a non-Glock mag in my Glocks. I literally took them out, went over to the Glock Smith, who's at every Glock match, and he's like, "Oh, let's change those followers because that's simple to do real quick. Try to save the mag." And no, work. Tried another follower just in case, still didn't work. So he just goes here, and he gave me Glock mags, and then that's how cool Glock is because their stuff, they are cool at their Glock matches to their Glock people. So got new mags right away, finished the match, didn't win or nothing, but at least I finished it, like so I was able to shoot. And I think I just traded off those mags to the shop and got real mags, and then only buy Glock mags. So I'm still a gun shy, literally, pun intended, of non-Glock mags.
Yeah.
Well, that would do it, eh?
Yeah.
One like, went right when I need them. They're not working. Like, nope. That's like a tiny little instance compared to like if I really needed them in real life. And nope.
Yeah, at that point, what do? You just throw the magazines at them.
All your bullets are in those kind of mags, probably. I mean, you might have one Glock mag, but if you're not paying attention, you just buy whatever mags are cheap, then you might have a whole bunch of mags that they can do you no good when you need them.
Yep. Maybe we'll do that as our next good idea, bad idea. Budget magazines.
I definitely have a lot of experience with that. I used to be a real big advocate for buying cheap mags every time I went into a gun show to offset the price of admission.
Yeah. I bought some magazines at a gun show.
There's that early watch guy again. He takes awesome pictures.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool shop. We've been there. It's like in a little center, just doing their thing. They got a lot of female type of oriented stuff. They have a lot of Jimenez. A lot of stores don't even bother with that. They got like the whole package or whatever, the whole like catalog.
Oh yeah. And then conveniently enough, like right over here next door to it is a dog grooming place. So you can go get your gun and get your dog groomed all at once.
That's true.
Another one from Chris. What do we got here? Kimber. Is that one of the micro 9s?
I put this guy in the 9mm all the time.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Notice how the leaves are so much more colorful in this one, though.
Yeah, but see, the ones that are closest to it are dying. So
that's with the 9mm.
The 9mm effect. On every second of the month or every day, help us spread Second Amendment awareness. Every second matters. Second Amendment awareness for you. That's from 2018 Matters.
Oh, right on.
In that picture, it's me, Jimmy, and Bob hugging somebody. Who is that we're hugging?
Is that Paul Ryan?
No. An Archie.
We're only as strong as our weakest link, guys. There's Steadily. Oh, that's pretty cool. Got the weird angle there.
Do you think he's got that engraved there, or that's just his watermark?
I don't. If he just wrote, no, it says at, so I'm pretty sure it was just writing, but I was questioning that myself.
So there's a way to do that kind of engraving with an old cell phone charger. So you take an old cell phone, what do they call those things? The little wall wart, the thing that you plug on the wall, and then you have like a cord coming out to your old cell phone.
Yeah.
You can take the transformer, take the transformer, and just strip the wires off the plug end, and then you basically make like a little contraption out of a chopstick and or a plastic fork and like a toothpick, and then you basically make a way to, what do they call that? Like
Like engraving?
an electro etcher or something. Yeah, and you just like you wipe lemon juice on it or something, and then you can basically, it's enough. That 5-volt trickle charge or whatever is enough to do an engraving. And I've seen some stuff where guys will take like the actual whatever acrylic or whatever the language is that the selectors are supposed to be in, and they'll take their blank 80% or their fresh lower that doesn't have any selector markings, and then they'll, whatever you call that, electro etch in like the whatever the foreign alphabet lettering that's supposed to be there. So you could engrave your own guns that way.
Oh,
It's
that's really
something
cool.
I think you don't even like. It's not like a soldering gun or like doing stippling where you have to hold it and touch it. It's more like you put the little stencil on there, and it's is where it is gonna etch where the stenciling is, or it's not gonna etch where the stenciling is, or vice versa, or whatever it is. And then you sort of leave it there, and you leave it there for like 20 minutes, and then you look, and you leave it there for 40 minutes, and you look, and at some point it digs down deep enough for you, and then you just remove it. Anyway, it's worth looking at. I found it on a couple of different people doing it years ago on YouTube, so I'm sure there's plenty of videos up, unless it's been banned. Unless that's kind of modification that's been banned by YouTube and removed.
Yeah. That's very
We
cool.
got- oh yeah. Now we got the Halloween giveaway over here from Clover Tag. What was this? On the 1st of October. Another one from Chris.
Noah's saying that those Schreier mags sucked. I agree.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. There's another Marco repost, only 2,700 because of the 9mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty too. Oh, Hash Tactical reposted Pinks too, 3,000. He's got like 10,000 views on that thing.
Mm-hmm. And he's putting Daily Gun Show in there, so thank you very much for that. He's putting gun channels on there. Thank you for that. He's putting CZ on there.
With that, you could check yourself. Get it? What do we got? CZ75. And we have a magazine indicator right there from Steadily. Tactical firearm solution, another 161 for Moon. I think Moon's the winner this time. We're going by numbers.
I'm just going by it's a good picture myself. But numbers help.
We got another XD over there. We'll forgive you for that one because you take good pictures, Chris.
Yeah. What can you say about that?
Oh, there's not much. There's a NRA. But on a positive note, it got replaced though, AZCDL. That's a good thing.
There you go. That's what's in the back window of my truck.
35. Nice. Now he stepped up a little bit, so I'm proud of you, Chris. You're in 40 area now. Steadily got his target up. Another repos. That's one of Moon's, but Best Guns reposted it. Very cool. Steadley's coming out of the bushes.
No, it's better than coming out of the closet.
Yeah, much better. Oh yeah, shoot those clouds away. Rupin RX. Oh yeah, he's got that I really like that patch. That's awesome. On the range. Oh yeah, sporting the new lid from Ghost Tactical. That's very cool. From Clover Tech.
Does dog rip it, or do those come like distressed like that right away?
I think they're distressed.
Ah, you're supposed to wear them out yourself.
Got here 19. Careful you don't get any of that moss on it.
Lichen.
It's pronounced lichen.
Another repost for Moon.
It's getting better today.
Yeah. Either that or
Now, some of these that Moon's getting reposted on are people that are on gun channels and know who he is. Jimmy, you got bounced, by the way. But other people that are reposted are because he got reposted on like gun channels and he got reposted on hashies. So, you know, when they get posted in front of hundreds of thousands of people, other reposters are going to see that and go, hell yeah, that's a cool picture, and grab it.
Yeah.
So, like this guy, though, whoever this guy is, he didn't take all of his stuff, did he? Or I guess he did. Yeah. But imagine if Moon would have posted a bunch of stuff there, like get involved, get off your ass, use the, you know, your representatives like the tools they are.
Yeah.
kind of like to look at it that way. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Use your representatives like the tools they are.
Oh, Chris put up a classic right here. Man after my own heart. Gen 2 22.
It's so plain and
Just like
blocky.
Just like if a police had been threatening an innocent with that and then set it down to beat on the innocent.
Yeah. Put it down after he had the handcuffs on him. So
Out in the woods, like, I'm just enjoying nature. The hell you are, boy. Put down my gun.
Not on my watch.
Oh, snap. Speaking of early watch, how do you like it?
Look at that happy shockwave. I love it. I love it so far. The that one up there was one of the triple-aught bucks that I ended up shooting out of it. Barely any kick at all. Very good. Don't like the fact that you guys can't see in the picture, but it that Parkerized finish wears very easily. But other than that, great.
That's just the nature of it, though. It's not supposed to prevent wear. It's just supposed to prevent corrosion from where it is. But
it's weather resistant. Yeah.
Do you have any concern that Nancy Pelosi probably and Feinstein probably don't like that gun? They probably don't want you to have it.
Part of me feels like they don't even know that it exists yet until it makes it onto the news or something like that. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure that they wouldn't like it if they knew it was out there.
It's next. If you don't think bump fires are a big deal, then I hope you don't think these are a big deal, because firearms are next.
Well, see, that's the dangerous part of this loop here, because you can put a bump fire on it and then connect that to the loop, and then you're in a whole heap of trouble.
Can you put a stock on that?
No, you cannot. Not legally, no, unless you SBS it.
Right. Right now, it's just other, so that would not allow you to put a stock on it. But
yeah, it's pretty cool. I would suggest getting one to have some fun with. We got Dog Body up here. Frank says he hears Antifa wants to start something on November 4th. Ever heard the story about the line? Oh, Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
So here's a story about the U.S. flag code. We live in a country where you don't have to do anything, and you have definitely have the First Amendment right to do whatever you want to our flag. But out of respect, I would never put a flag down on anything, and I would never put any crap on top of a flag which could soil it. And I would never use a flag in advertising. This isn't advertising, but this encourages lazy advertisers to think that our flag is just a backdrop. So I can't endorse this picture or anything of it.
I understand it is the flag. It looks like it might be a blanket though. I don't know. That stitching up there is kind of thick, so I can't really tell. But yeah, I hear you.
Spacing of the blue definitely makes it look like it's a blanket, but then again, refer to the flag code. Flag isn't designed for wiping your filthy ass or your sweaty ass head.
Yeah. Oh, we got Steadily with some more. Is that the same Romanian from earlier? It looks like it. The bayonet.
Is it a Romanian or is it a Mahdi?
My eyes are for crap, man.
I'd say Romanian. Plus it says Romy G on there.
Oh, yeah, and Romanian. So let's take it for what it is. People out there, make sure you read tags. I don't know why, but I like the last time he did it, I think he did it in reverse and it showed the actual the tritium or whatever, but I like the way it looks in the rain. Couple more AKs. Wow, what is that Glock gonna do to that Glock?
It's almost porn. I think Night Strike would classify this as almost porn.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank God his magazine's not exposed.
There's Steadily another one pointed up at the sky.
You should be careful. You might shoot down a satellite.
Looks like we got Cave Dave's little workbench here.
When you see that one the way it is, you can tell like by the dock and the foregrip how like I call them like 70s they are. Like they're really square. I mean they're rounded and curved a little bit, but they're fairly square. They're not bulgy. They're not like there's no ribbing or nothing, and there's just solid pieces of wood. So there's just the wood grain. There's no like crazy patterns made the plywood or anything on those Yugos. So are you a fan of that like style stock? Because it definitely is more, I would say it's more of a throwback to like a plain old rifle stock than most of your AK stuff, which is like I say curvy and bumpy and almost always made out of plywood. So it's got that, more like zebra effect where
Right.
this can almost look like just plain wood most of the time. This particular one happens to have some grain in the stock, but you can tell from the fore end that a lot of times they just look really natural like that, good the wood type of grain. And it gives them such a different look, especially once they're assembled with their like beefier receivers and their weird looking pistol grip, that it's unique. But I don't know if it's, as far as looks go, if it's anywhere near the top of my list. I think it looks so much like a regular hunting rifle that even the military ones look so commercial that, like I say, I like the other kinds better, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But one of the main reasons that I love the AK platform is because you could take advantage of putting that folding stock on it and make it, more, I don't know, not concealable, but able to like take it with you and stuff like that, put it in a bag, and I don't know.
Yeah, the only real Yugo folding stock is the underfolder.
Yeah.
I kind of like that solid wood furniture. I mean, to me, it does look more like just a regular gun, which I kind of like.
Yeah, it's more classic, definitely.
And all that being said, the Yugos are some of the strongest and nicest of the AKs.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Steadly's got his Wolverines. Nice. Very nice.
Sweet.
Gunpocalypse.
Oh, that's a weird looking gun.
Yeah, that's definitely into it.
Yeah.
Well, this is his AR, and this looks like he got his Glock slide milled out to match his AR. So this must be his get
Yeah.
out of Dodge setup.
Ooh, I don't know. All that red on it. It's certainly pretty.
I couldn't have that in my neighborhood.
No, you probably couldn't have this in your neighborhood.
Not this one.
Well, not a real one. I hope.
Yeah, that's what they have on display instead of the Hobgoblin, the little plane that fits inside the big, was it the B-38, 336? And yeah, they don't have the little fighter anymore. Yeah, so
Really?
they don't even have it displayed with it. Yeah.
Oh,
They have a good-looking bomb displayed with it, but
Yeah.
not an airplane that's about the size of that bomb.
yeah, maybe they're redoing it. Like, you know, they got to refurbish them every so
What
many.
bothers me is we were going to do the show, and we were rushing out to do the show on time, right? And then I'm leaving that room, which is like the third of 4 rooms in the place. So it's all the way back in the back of the museum. And this is at the back of that room, and it's a huge plane. So you have to walk all the way around the whole museum to get over underneath of it. And then as I'm leaving, there's an old guy volunteer working there. And I said something to the effect of, the hell, you don't have the Hobgoblin out there? And then he says something like, yeah, it's back there way in the corner. So it suckers me into going all the way back into the corner to find out he's talking about one of those drones that we used to break the sound barrier or something before we sent people out there. So yeah, some stupid drone that has nothing to do with the V-36. And I walked around that plane twice looking for that Hobgoblin because that guy said it was there. So that just proves that the people that are there don't know what's there. And I don't think that it was taken away for cleaning or something because there was no hole where it would have been. And then usually if they're going to take something awesome away, they'll put like a thing there that says the awesome thing is going to be back, you know, at such and such a time. It's like, we didn't forget that this is the most awesome part about this plane. No, I think they're trying to change history. It's like YouTube. They're trying to change history. They're trying to make it look like we didn't have little tiny planes that popped out of bigger planes.
Oh, they traded it to another museum for something. That could happen too.
It would be awesome if it was out here, except that out here, our big ass plane like that is outside. We don't put that one inside, so they would never be able to have the little Hobgoblin next to it because I doubt they'd put the Hobgoblin outside. It's too little. Somebody just drive up and take it.
Yeah.
I would. I'd break in there, just back a pickup truck in there and grab it.
Fly away.
Quite that small.
Yeah, it fits in the back of a pickup. Are you kidding? It's as big as that bomb right there almost. It's the same size as that plane that comes out of the horse's butt in that one James Bond movie.
So that brings us to, that actually brought us 3 deep into the most popular ones. So what are we going to vote for today?
We're voting on one of these.
Oh yeah, I'm voting. I already got my vote. I'm voting on Moon's very artistic picture there. Yeah.
Which one?
This
Well,
one?
with
The one with 100 reposts? You're going to vote on which one?
I'm going to vote on the Moon's that's got the black and white and just the grips are colored.
Well, I'm saying,
Oh,
but which
okay.
one? There's like at least 13 reposts of it.
Well, I'm voting for Moon's original.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Although my second would be the #tactical repost just because I like her hands.
So did we talk about the bump board there?
No, I was too busy laughing and I skipped it, but that's my vote. I'm taking the bump stick.
Whose is that?
That is Steadily.
And that's not even a repost. He just posted that. So that's a Gen 2 that he's got. And then made a bump stick for it. Yeah, I'm going with that one too.
Well, looks like he's got the win then.
Congratulations, Steadily.
Yeah, congratulations, Steadily. Although, never mind.
Have you ever shot one of them things, Bob?
Bumps? Not
Yep.
not bump stick board like that. I've bump fired, but
Yeah, that bump board just makes it a little easier. It's like training wheels, but now illegal.
yeah.
Or it will be illegal if you sit by and do nothing. A piece of wood with a stick out of it will be illegal.
We always said one day they'd make sticks illegal.
Well, unless we have anything from the audience, I mean, well, no, never mind,
Well,
because me and G
probably
voted this one.
Cave is probably voting for his, but that's just a lowly audience vote doesn't get to outweigh one of our host votes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a picture that said it was in another display. Yeah, that's what somebody said someplace, but we never see it. So why wouldn't they put it underneath the plane that it pops out of? I think Pink's talking about that Hobgoblin. Oh, I guess we're going to stick with ours, although Cave could say he came in second with the Yugo build since we talked about that for quite a bit. All right, so that's our halftime showdown. What was the number on there this week? Did you close it?
It's not a problem.
It's like 1,000 something.
1,068.
So I'm going to put that in for next week so we know, and then we'll see whatever additional ones come up. So that's cool. We hit the 1,000 mark over there. That's pretty cool. We haven't really pushed on it too much over the last couple of weeks without Smeggy around, but yeah, we'll have to do something since we have shipping money again. We'll see if we can't ship something to somebody for winning that too. Huh? Ship them a brand new camera with a fancy lens. We need as a sponsor to give us a fancy camera and a fancy lens.
Yeah, I was going to say right now we can only afford to ship them a friendly letter.
NRA sticker in the trash came up as from Phoenix as a also. It was a good one, and it says it real quick.
Cool. So where does that bring us to now?
I think we're at what's our history, gun history, and then what's happening tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at history earlier too, and there wasn't really too many gun-related ones in here. Some king got crowned.
That's okay. We're running a little long anyway.
Here we are. All right. So nothing super big though I can think of. Apollo 7 launched successfully in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think that's it. Today's Wednesday, so it'll be Matt doing his thing. Did we already talk about that?
No, we didn't.
So Matt will do his political show tonight if he's around. He might be on the road and not doing it. Clover does his Wednesday show tonight, so check that out. I think that's the only Wednesday shows. When's Ellis's shows? Tuesday and Friday?
I think he said something about doing Tuesday and Thursday, and a possible Thursday. So maybe Thursday. Look out for Ellis.
Okay. And then somebody else was starting the other night too.
Yeah.
All right. So lots of slots over there still available. One of the reasons we moved the show to this time slot is so somebody could take one of the afternoon slots if they wanted to do a show on the regular. You don't have to do it every single day, of course. You can do it just once a week or a couple of times, whatever. You can even do it a couple of times a month, like Yankee. A lot of people do that kind of thing. So lots of room for you to do it if you want to.
All right. And so that's it for gun channels? Just Matt's, or did I just have a brain fart?
And Clover.
And Clover. Right.
Yeah, Clover.
All right. Well, I guess we're done then. Let's wrap her up. Anybody? Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, today's quote's going to be by Alexander Hamilton. But before that, I'd just like to remind everybody, please share, subscribe, thumbs up. And if you can, support us on Patreon. Our link is in the show description. If you just want to get some loot that'll help the show, then Gear Websites. Lots of patches and good stuff there. Anyway, guys, so Alexander Hamilton. The best we can hope for concerning the people at large is that they be properly armed. It should be pretty hard to do if they're going to make laws against what we can have. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.